Back in February, we saw Tesla dropping prices on the Model Y rear-wheel drive and Model Y long range by $1,000. But their inventory is swelling here in early April, and the prices keep plummeting. Grab your snacks and drinks, buckle in, and Tesla's in a world of hurt. Back in early February, Model Y rear-wheel drive was $42,990. It had just been discounted to that. The discount was about $1,000 in February. Now it's an additional $2,500 on the base Model Y rear-wheel drive. And it was $47,990 back in February for the Model Y long range. Guess where it's at now? It's at $44,990, so a $3,000 discount. Guys, you're getting huge price slashes on Teslas. And I'm sure owners who bought a Tesla are probably not the happiest about it because the residual value just keeps going down. I mean, it could be worse. If you bought a Fisker, those things are worth next to nothing now, and a lot of people paid $60,000 for them. So the EV market's really struggling. It's not just Tesla. They are, of course, at the top of the EV game, so they have the furthest to fall, you could say. But there's a big problem going on with Tesla, and the price cuts here are not, they're just a bandage because they've been overproducing and underselling. So this is, the green is overproducing and then red is underproducing. So they're selling more than they're making. And look at this huge glut in Q1 2024. They produced over 46,000 more vehicles than it delivered in the first quarter. But that was on top of this existing glut that already was. Tesla blamed its volume decline in part of changing over its California plant and shutdowns of its factory in Germany. But analysts aren't buying it because the difference between the number of vehicles Tesla's built and sold in the quarter dispels the notion that Q1 deliveries were somehow supply rather than demand constrained. And this is not looking good for Tesla stock, and we don't know where this is going to bottom out at. You know, we had this meteoric rise during the pandemic. People were getting filthy rich off of Tesla stock. And then after this peak in November of 21, big decline at the bottom right here, December of 2022, it rallied, but now we're on a continual decline. Where this will bottom out, we don't know. Now the Model Y qualifies for the EV tax credit if you purchase it, but I don't recommend purchasing any EV because their residual value is terrible and you don't know what it's going to be in a few years. So the only way I'd recommend buying an EV is maybe if you're looking at like Hertz for example, and they have a couple-year-old Tesla Model 3s pre-refresh, right? You can get them from dirt cheap. $25,000. What does it cost to get a new Model 3 though? Remember, the new Model 3s do not qualify for the EV tax credit, so you'd have to lease it to get that EV tax credit. $38,000? Why would you buy the new Highland Refresh when you can get a 2-year-old model for $15,000 less? And this is just a local Hertz inventory next to me up in Bonita Springs. They all have a bunch of base Model 3s, and you can snap up some decent deals here if you're willing to get a rental car as your used car. Let me know what the price would have to be for you to buy a car from Hertz for a Tesla anyways. They have lots of different makes. It's not just Tesla. They have the most Teslas. I guess there's a bunch of Chevys at my local dealership. But we go back to automotive news. Remember, it's not just Tesla. Look at what's going on. The Cadillac Lyriq went from 0 incentives in the first 3 months of 2023 to $10,000 last quarter. Tesla incentives averaged over $6,000 in March, up from $1,000 a year earlier. Polestar incentives averaged $7,800 in March, and it's accelerating because in average for the first quarter for Polestar, it was over $6,000. Incentives for the Aria were nearly $16,000. Up from just $1,500 a year earlier. The Mustang Mach-E, about $8,500 of incentives, up from $1,600. The Ioniq 5, almost $12,000 of incentives, up from $1,200. So it's like incentives on these electric cars have multiplied 5 to 10 fold. It's absolutely mind-blowing. ID4 more than doubled in the first quarter to $7,800. That's kind of on the lower end of the list here. EV9 just launched late 2023, and those incentives are already totaling $11,000 in March and over $9,000 in the first 3 months this year. So while EVs are just bleeding these manufacturers money, and maybe even Tesla at this point, what are Tesla's margins with these new price slashes? It's hard to say, but hybrids here, I just made a video in the last day or so talking about how Toyota's hybrids are part of their master plan. It's cheaper for them to develop hybrid models than it is gas models at this point in time. Hybrids right now are seeing massive growth and a massive demand. Toyota's hybrids nearly doubled to 206,000 and now account for 37% of the total volume. But I made a graph, I'll just pull it up. It could be as high as 50% in Q1 of 2025, and it could be as high as 61% in 2026 Q1. So their hybrid and electrified penetration is going to keep growing. Not necessarily on the backs of the success of battery electrics, that will come in time, but mainly on the backs of hybrid electric vehicles and their profitability. But it's not just Toyota's hybrids. If we look at Honda, the Accord hybrid surged nearly 60% to almost 20,000 vehicles. The CR-V hybrid deliveries jumped 16% to 42,000. Ford's hybrids are skyrocketing as well, and hybrid sales rose 42% to 38,000, which is a record for the company when they began selling hybrids more than 20 years ago. And because of the burning hot hybrid demand, Ford is delaying its EV pickup utilities as it expands its hybrid options. And they want to have hybrid variants on each gas-powered vehicle in its lineup by the end of the decade. Toyota, this was 2018, 2017, Toyota said, hey, we'll have hybrid versions of every single model of our cars in the lineup by 2025. So Ford's about 5 years behind the electrification of Toyota, at least in terms of model permeation volume, but they're pretty far behind as well. Ford was the number 2 EV brand in the US for the past 2 years, but really the Koreans, if you combine Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis, they have passed Ford. But anyways, they're all way behind Tesla. And they want to have a profitable EV business. But Jim Farley's saying right now, gas, hybrid, and fully electric vehicles need to come out at the right times. Their breakthrough, their next-gen EVs will be from the ground up, fully software-enabled. Toyota will have those out in 2026. Obviously, Tesla already has those out. And shares in Ford fell 3% when this happened on Thursday. Because of the lull in EV demand, Ford is postponing production of its under-construction Blue Oval City plant in Tennessee from late 25 now to 2026. Ford is also delaying production of 3-row EV utilities at a facility in Canada from 2025 to 2027. That's very interesting. Toyota in 2025, as well as Subaru and probably Lexus in their Kentucky plant, have committed to building a 3-row EV. And I think that could spell the death of the Highlander now that we have the Grand Highlander here. So time will tell though, but it's very interesting. Ford delaying that. Will Toyota delay their 3-row EV in the Kentucky plant? I highly doubt it, but anything's possible. Hyundai also saw a massive gain of 48% in March for its Tucson hybrid and plug-in hybrids. Pickups are also suffering, so it seems like the top end of the market, and it's just exacerbated if it's an electric vehicle, but right now the top end of the market is being squeezed. All the very expensive Ford pickup trucks are really down right now. They can't move them. Rams slid 15%. Ford F-Series slid 10%. Ford has not shipped any F-150 Lightning EV since February 9th because of a quality issue, and hundreds of Lightnings and other F-150s remain in storage in Dearborn, Michigan, and in Detroit. Meanwhile, Ford's baby Maverick is slaying it. The first quarter sales were nearly 40,000, a gain of 82%. And remember, they're the only small hybrid pickup truck around 40 miles per gallon. They're seeing massive growth there with that little Maverick and the hybrids for sure. Small cars are seeing a big rise as well. Volkswagen's Jetta jumped 160%. Their Golf R as well as GTI is doing quite well too. And interestingly, with the market the way it is, sedans being a little bit less expensive, not only is Volkswagen sedans and hatchbacks benefiting, Nissan saw a 22% rise from the Versa and Sentra, Toyota saw a 31% gain from the Corolla Crown, Prius, and Camry. Mazda's cars, thanks to the Mazda 3, saw a 16% rise when their crossovers only saw a 5% rise. And luxury automakers are getting squeezed as well. Doesn't come as a surprise with electric vehicles seeing that squeeze. They're kind of in the same price segment a lot of the time. Audi down 16%, Acura down 9%, Cadillac down 2%, Infiniti down 12%, Alfa down 4%. There is issues going on, especially with Audi, Porsche, and Bentley, because they've been stuck at ports since they had illegal parts. That's totally their fault for doing shady shenanigans. But I just find it interesting. Tesla price slashes, they can't stop from happening as the luxury market is falling apart. The pickup truck market is falling apart, but it's like multiplied if you're a luxury EV too. It's crazy, guys. I don't know where the market is heading. March saw, I think, a growth of about 5% overall, but that's not the case for EVs as their growth has flatlined. The interest is waning, but hybrids keep gaining in interest. It seems like after 20 years now on the market, hybrids have kind of overcome the stigma of people don't want batteries in the cars. That old sentiment is gone. Maybe those buyers died off. I'm not quite sure, but people are welcoming hybrids with open arms as their prices are low. Fuel economy is great on them, and you don't have to manage your normal life any different. You just stop at a gas station, any random gas station that are sprinkled everywhere throughout the US. You don't have to worry about planning your trip around lengthy charging stations with EVs. EVs right now, though, you might be able to get some of the craziest deals. And I always recommend an EV if it fits your budget and if all you do is drive around your local area. But the charging stations are going to be interesting in the near future because everyone's adopting Tesla's supercharging standard by 2025. So Tesla's, ace up their sleeve, their supercharging network is no longer benefit for their customers, but it's benefiting every EV customer at that point. So anyways, I don't know where the market is going. Like I said, it doesn't look good for EVs the rest of this year. And I don't think it's going to look good for EVs until we get a massive jump in battery electric technology, which improves range, reduces cost, and we have better infrastructure for charging, and charging times come down as well. So there's 5 things for EVs that need to happen for them to see massive uptick in, let's say, the current demand. The current EV buyers have already bought, and the next growth won't really happen until we have all those jumps that I just mentioned. But I'm going to shut down there. Very exciting to see where the market is going. If you guys enjoy it, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe, because anytime I see weird things going on in the industry or just spicy things going on with EVs just imploding with their values, and even the luxury and truck market imploding as well, I can't wait to see what happens next. So if you're as excited as I am, make sure you subscribe, and I can't wait to update you guys on the next Tesla price cut or whatever it might be. I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, by the way, I leave in just a couple days to San Diego to drive the new Camry hybrid, the new Tacoma hybrid, the Land Cruiser hybrid, as well as preview for you guys the all-new 4Runner, the redesigned 4Runner. That's right. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.